my lower unit gear, my lower gear case, lower unit for my outboard. I have a 60 horse outboard, and I replaced the two seals where the prop was. Okay, so that did something, but I'm still getting a little bit of water in there. So I said, hey, I need to make me a pressure test. I need to pressure test it, okay, to see, might save me some time to see what the problem is. Okay, so problem is I don't have a pressure tester. Okay, and so I started thinking about, how can I make one? So, because I don't need a lot of pounds, I only need to put about 10 pounds in there. So I got this pump from Harbor Freight. Okay, and with this pump, okay, right here with this pump came these parts. Okay, so I decided to use this one. You might be able to use that one, the other gray one, but decided to use this gray one right here. It was right here in the pump. I pulled it out. Okay, and so what I did was these little kits that you use to change the pump to fluid in the lower gear case. Okay, so this part right here, okay, this is part of it. It comes with that little kit. It's only about, I don't know, it's not much money. It's under $10. I got mine from Walmart. Okay, so now this part screws into where you take the screw out of the lower unit of the outboard. This part screws in there. Okay, and now on the end of this, I had to pull this off the this little black hand pump. Actually, right here. This was on here somehow. It might have been right here. Okay, so I pulled this off. Right now, take this little part right here. I can put it in there like that. Okay, you see that? And kind of push it in there tight, and it makes a pretty good seal. You can really, if it's having problems with it, push it in there good. Maybe even put a, I don't know. It's holding with me anyway. So I push it in there. I hadn't tried the other sides. There's two of these actually. I hadn't even tried the other sides. Okay, so push that in there. And screw this into the screw that you take off the gear case. Screw this in there. I use the top one. Of course, I already drained the fluid. There's no fluid in there now. And so I'm going to put the bottom screw in and tighten up on it. And I'm going to put this in the top screw. Okay, so that's what, once I have this in the top, okay, I'll take this part right here, and this is made to connect to this because it came with the pump. I'll take this part and put it in there like that. Okay, and then I just open this up. Okay, so now, guess what? You put a little pressure in that lower unit. And the good thing about this, it's got a gauge. So from what I understand, you don't want to go over about 13 pounds. So I just try to, get it around 10 pounds. Okay, and then get you a spray bottle, an old spray bottle, put some water and some soap in there, and you can, have to pump this a couple times. Check out the gauge, and it should hold pressure. I mean, I'm not sure how good this holds back the pressure, how good it seals up. Okay, but we're just trying to find a leak. Okay, we're not gonna, I'm not using this as a reliable pressure tester where we would put some pressure in there and time it, for a couple of minutes and see if it holds pressure. So, for doing that, this has got to be in there really tight. So I don't know how tight this would get to do that. So I'm not using it to do that. I'm just doing it to put about 10 pounds in the lower unit and then spraying the seals and stuff to see if any bubbles come up. Okay, so basically you screw this in the top part, the screw in the gear case. You don't even have to, see, this will spin around. You can just hold it steady and just kind of get it in there, don't strip it. Of course it's plastic, but you want to be able to use this, forever, so you don't want to mess this up and strip it. And get this in there tight, okay, and then got everything hooked up. You can go ahead and put some pressure in there, and it should keep an eye on the gauge, make sure it's not, dropping too quick. As long as it's holding enough where you can spray it with soapy water, come back and check the gauge and see if there's any bubbles coming up. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and do. Okay, let me go ahead and show you again. So there's the gauge on the pump. I'm going to push down on it. Get about 10 pounds in there. I don't want to go over that. Which looks like it's right around 10 pounds. So stop. Okay. And then it should hold pressure unless you got a real bad leak. So I don't have a real bad leak, but you can see. You see it bubbling up there? So it's definitely leaking right there. See it coming out? So it's definitely leaking right there. And that seems to be the only place. I was going to put a new seal in here. I don't even know if I'm going to do that. I'm going to have to work on this. Because I know it gets a little milky in there. But it's not real bad. So I know it's just getting a tiny bit of water in there. Okay, thank you all for watching. Okay, what I did was I wanted to go ahead and look at this, so I went ahead and carefully cut that piece off with my wire cutters. And I got this piece off, and it does look kind of bad. So I noticed it wasn't leaking out of the top, it was leaking out of the side here. So you can see how that is. It's not a bad leak, but it's really not a bad leak. I could probably get by with it. So let's go ahead and check this out. Right about there, that's enough. You don't want to blow out another seal. See that? You see that leaking? So it's slowly leaking out through there. So I guess I'm going to have to get a new part here. Maybe clean this one up, try it, or just get a new one. Okay, thank you all for watching. Please subscribe. Bye now. Okay, so remember I went ahead and took this out, and there was a lot of crud and stuff inside this plastic piece here. So I went ahead and took that off, and I put an O-ring in there, and I used some gasket sealer stuff and put it around there, and then put this on top of it, and then put this tie on there. So I think I got it fixed. I pressure tested it. I didn't see it leaking. I put a little grease under this part right here too, so I don't, know if that's the right way to do it or not, but that's the way I did it. I want to put a little grease here, and I put a little, on the shaft here. And so I'm going to test it back out and, see if it's, the fluid's got any milky color to it at all. I know there's a leak, but it's not a bad leak.